Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxchair, on the show tonight. Last night with the Chuckle Brothers. Tonight we've got the Mitchell Brothers. It's the one and only Stevie and Big Southside. Evening, Stevie.
Good evening, Ox. And it's hands across the Clyde to my good pal, Southside.
Oh. How you doing, big man? Good to be on with you, Stevie. And how are you doing? The godfather of Rangers Radio, Foxchair.
How are we doing, boys? Good to speak to you. It's been a while since the threes have been together. Do you want to run through that afternoon? I was just checking a few details with Albert this afternoon.
Right now, by the way, your pinky, you must have cramped in that pinky. It was all day.
I thought he was trying to be up the dartboard. He was trying to play like Eric Bristol.
Well, all I can say, we were in a beer shop. I was having a drink with Albert and some other people. One guy comes in and he says, "I'll have something to eat." I said, "What do you want?" He says, "Well, get me the soup, the starter, fish and chips, and a chocolate sundae, and a Diet Coke outside." How does that work?
Oh, that's poor, by the way. That's poor. And you do know it was DDAW week. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know. But also, after that, it got worse, Stevie, didn't it? When somebody else ordered their drink.
I'm really surprised he jumped on the bandwagon with you there. I mean, come on.
I did.
So he asked for a cappuccino, which is fair enough, because he was driving and he took the time and he wasn't well, he had the sniffles. He had the handy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sniffles out in the handy handies. I was all right with the cappuccino, Stevie. He asked for the chocolate sprinkles on top of it.
No. Angels, anyone, eh? Everyone, anyone.
But a good
Stevie, if he didn't make the effort, he'd have ended up out there on his Todd. He's got a cheek to give us abuse.
I wasn't on my Todd. I'm never
you,
on my
you
Todd.
would have been on your Todd, but we us three hadn't made the effort.
Never on my Todd, mate. Never on my Todd in that part of the world. Anyway, good to see you. Good laugh and a good afternoon was had by all. I'm sure when we get together next time, there might be a wee bit more refreshments to carry. But good to see you. Obviously, it was just the start of the Michael Beale era. We just beat Motherwell the night before, and things have moved on a wee bit since then, Stevie. What you feeling? You feeling good? You feeling bad about the team? What's your thoughts?
No, listen, we've got to beat the dross, haven't we? That's for bread and butter, and we're seemingly doing that under Beale. Nothing's perfect yet, Ox, but listen, we've got to say there's definitely progress. The team's playing for each other. The big boy Davis and Connor Golson are looking at no bad pairn as we can see now. They're still leaking silly goals, but here and there. But look, things are on the up. You're seeing a bit more fight. You're seeing a bit more guile, determination, and they look as if they're playing for each other. We've got to remember, Beale's told us today, there's players out there playing that maybe need re-operations and stuff, you know, so that's all going to come. So hopefully we get this window out the road, because that's all going to come soon rather than later. But I'm delighted with the way things are going. But as it played 6-1-5 drew 1, we can't ask for any more.
What you finding? You're a connoisseur of all things football, Southside. You know, what you're thinking? You know, do you see improvement, or is it just a tweak, or is it we're playing a bit more pace or purpose?
You see a sort of a style and an organisation. You know, you can see the shape of the team. No fantastic, but certainly improved. Results-wise, was what we said at the start. It was important to get results, and then hopefully we start to see a wee bit better football. So for me, since the break of the World Cup, confidence is gone now when you travel and you're going to Ibrox. You feel like you're going to win the day.
You feel that, Stevie, a bit more confidence?
Well, winning games breeds confidence, doesn't it? It brings a bit of swagger, and hopefully the boys... Look, it snowballs, doesn't it? I mean, we're doing well, so you're expecting to go away now and win, whether under Gio, we knew we were struggling big time, you know. And when you got with Dundee, I mean, we beat them 2-0 there. When was the last time we went up there, you know? So, listen, I agree to an extent with what Southside says there. It was a dire first half up there at Dundee, and then we played a bit better in the second. We got the goals, and then you started to see a bit of that fast-flowing football that Bill's been trying to tell us about, you know. But, my God, we need to start games a wee bit better sometimes.
Can you put your finger on that Southside, the first half? With the piece, arguably his best first half might have been away at Aberdeen, wasn't it? Arguably.
Aye, probably. It was. I think it was just the passing was off, and we weren't getting into positions. We never actually really tested the goalkeeper. I think Sakala headed one down, and Kolak sort of spun out the edge of the box and had a shot on target. It wasn't very hard, but it was straight to the goalkeeper. Really poor in the first half for most of the team. We didn't really give many chances away to them either. We were controlling it, Ox. It was just at a slower tempo, a pace.
So if you used to, I know it's not something you've got a lot of, but report cards, what's Michael Beale's report card so far for your Stevie?
What?
It's up to you. You score them.
Well, listen, very good. Very good. By any manager coming into a new team and 1-5 and drawing 1 against your rivals who are sitting top of the league, come on, that's no bad by anybody's standards. Let's be honest. And Beatty's took on. Listen, the boys came in the benches. Injuries are unbelievable what we've got. So he's done, considering what he's come into and what he's done with the team so far. I'm putting down very good. There's always room for improvement, isn't there? Of course there is. So very good. He's done his proud so far.
Southside?
I think the fact that we've seen the state of the squad we're playing like before the World Cup break, and since he's come in, he's had to use the majority of that squad. So I think he's managed to get a tune out a few of them. I think there's players he's alluded to have played by injury. So if I was talking out of 10, I'd give him an 8. I think 8 out of 10 now would be a fair assessment, considering we're undefeated and we've got a shape and a sort of style. And I just think once you improve the squad with better players, it'll be a better oiled machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you say better players, are you talking about players coming back before we talk about transfers?
Hard to judge, really, Ox, because if you talk about Hadji and he'll come back, it's maybe sometime at the end of the month, and you don't really know how long he'll take to get up to speed and be back sort of playing. So it'd be a good addition and somebody that hopefully we could use out a longer period of time in games. Suitors are another one, but unless he's playing on the right hand side or the centre or defence in a back three, if he chose to do that, or on the right hand side, I think the left hand side with Ben Davis is more or less covered, and it'll strengthen squad, I think, but you need to be getting them on the park, Hawks, and obviously Lorne sounds like it's going to be a bit longer, unfortunately.
Aye, fair comment, mate, but we just couldn't catch a break, and some people might say that Giovanni was unlucky, the injuries maybe played a toll, but it just looked as if it was the right thing to do, and in hindsight, Steve here.
Aye. Look, what Southside saying? I mean, some of these players, when they come back, they're going to be like new signed players, Tez. I mean, when Hadji comes back, he's going to be like a new signed player. Let's be honest, and he's going to take a while. The injury that boy's had, he's got to get match fit. You know what I mean? Although he's training with the squad and stuff like that, they've got to get games under their belt to get up to where they were before they were injured. And it all takes time. And it's quite hard and contradicting myself here, but sometimes you've not got a lot of time at Glasgow Rangers. You've got to hit the ground running. So I hope these guys come back and they hit the ground running again. But it'll be interesting when we get the full squad back. The way Beale's talking as if they're all coming back bits at a time, and they'll all be there roughly around about the end of the month. So let's see where it brings us.
Okay, you used to a certain vintage. I suppose when you weigh up, you're close to, well, I suppose over 100 years of supporting our club between the two years, yeah? So we've seen a lot of changes. We're going. Is there any era that you see similar to this? Because it was 15 years ago yesterday that Walter took over for Paul McGlenn. You remember that team? A foreign coach, didn't go well. You've also had the bit when Alec McLeish took over for Dick Advocari into his reign. Do you see any similarities in when we replaced foreign coaches in the past, Southside?
I think probably, I don't know if it's similar, but if you think back to the money that Advocat spent in that, and then obviously Alex McLeish came in, and they had to work on a lesser budget. Would that be fair to say that?
Carry on, Stevie.
I was just going to say the similarities I see for Le Guin and Gio are they both done well in Europe, but my God, domestically they were woeful, really woeful. And I think in the end up the two of them could have lost the dressing room a wee bit.
Maybe. I get it. I see that, Stevie. That makes sense in a lot of ways. And obviously, McGuinn's era was quick, but Gio's wasn't that much longer. You know, McGuinn 6 months roughly, wasn't it? And Giovanni just over a year.
Yep. That's the similarities, isn't it? And they both done well in Europe, funny enough. But domestically, wow. You know, I mean, I remember like carry on with Barry Ferguson, he dropped the captain, mind. Big boy, they scored the goal at Motherwell and he held up the number, you know. So it just told you the dressing room was really gone. But I don't know how bad it was with Gio, right enough, you know. We'll never ever know how bad it was, but I think he did. I mean, but the way the players have upped their game for Beale, then you must think to yourself there must have been something wrong under Gio, you know.
Does that worry you with a group of players, Southside, that they've allegedly, to coin a phrase, they down tools?
I think anybody that watched the games seen that players, some of them were just going through the motions. And I just think it's down to whether you think, well, once a new manager comes in and he maybe start to play for him, it's down to you as a person, individually as a supporter, to judge whether you think what he done in the past, should he get a second chance to go out and prove it now. That's what more or less annoys me. That whole squad allowed us to pick up 2 points out of 9, regardless of what they think of the manager. Players will go out there, and some players don't even talk to players. They might talk to them on the park, but they don't have relationships with them off the park. Everybody likes everybody they work with. I just think it's just a mentality thing, and obviously Gio had his way of doing things. As the Dutch day, Advocat was the same. And Paul Le Guin obviously had his way, I think, and he just couldn't win league games. And his mentality wasn't right for the size of our club, and but it means that we've got to win every week. So they got that wrong. But like Stevie says, they could do it in Europe. You know, they used to win away from him in Europe, which is a hard thing to achieve.
See,
I was just going to say, Southside, you know, I think it might be an arrogance thing with the foreign coaches. I mean, Gio kept harping on about his philosophy. And let's be honest, we were going week in, week out, mate. You couldn't see what he was talking about. What was his philosophy? Get the ball to the winger, get the winger to cross it. Was that his philosophy? Because they just doubled up on the wingers and that stopped that. So where was his philosophy? I mean, more pulling my hair out when he was saying that. But it's just arrogance for some of these foreign coaches. And in Europe, you know yourself, and everybody knows you get a wee bit more time in the ball. You could probably walk up with a halfway line some of the games. The Scottish League, it's just smash and grab, man. It's just Fermer's boys kicking players all over the place at some of the games, and you're playing on cow fields and all. If you get back to the days, I mean, they weren't the heated lamps, all the parts, and some of them were really cow fields. You couldn't play football on some of them, you know, professionals. Oh.
There's a thing I never thought I'd see on the show, Southside, a philosopher for Drumchapel.
I think football, talking to a couple of people the other day, and you're looking at how when we were winning the league championships and that, as much as it pains to say, but we used to go to Pittodrie and we'd maybe drop points to them. and would maybe drop points to a Hearts or a Hibs. But you could still go and win the league like we've done in the past. And I just think the dynamics have changed slightly. Every team in Scotland now have just playing this type of defence. They don't play it against each other, but they play it when they come and play us in them. And they don't have I just feel as if they don't have an ambition to go and try and win now. So for me, it's always been a 2-team league, but now it comes down to consistency. And like Stevie said at the start, we've got to be consistently now under Michael Beale starting for next season anyway, consistently beat the Dross. Because, and if we can beat the Dross all the time, then we can take care of them ourselves. But we can't afford now, I think, the way, only for the reason being the way they're just trying to steamroll our teams off the park and everybody's not showing ambition to go and have a go at them. I just think we've got to be the same in the league. We need to be mega consistent now, because I think it's changed slightly for the last couple of years, and going forward for the next couple of years, I think we've got to be mega consistent to keep beating the garbage in Scotland first and foremost.
I've been just been sent a couple of texts. Giovanni Brandbronker's philosophy was double Dutch to me, Stevie.
Oh.
And the other one is for Mr. K. Nisbet. When's Big Southside on again?
Another 3 goals, may I add, but another 3 goals. I'm telling you the truth. Once they mentioned it to me, I thought, no, at first, no. And I thought about it. And I'm going to tell you something. Southside's right. See your man Shankland and him, the boy Nisbet. Nisbet would probably run the lines better for us. He's more athletic. He's good in there too. And he's got me swinging his way of thinking. I think that boy could be a really good signing for us. He's a proven goal scorer. Everybody knows that. And then he got another 3, a hat-trick at the weekend. So Southside's got a wee nose for a player there, I think.
Are you telling me you're swinging both ways, Stevie?
We'll keep it. All the children are still listening now. You know, I've got a big fan base.
He did say you were dimming the lights down a bit, didn't you?
Right. Can I say something, Knox, before we move on?
Yes.
What we've got to remember here in Scotland is we're Aberdeen's cup final every game. We're Hibs' cup final every game they play. The Hibs Aberdeen fans are getting cheated rotten by their own teams. They're their game to play against the Rangers. And then we seen it that Saturday they played them for across the city. There was no effort and endeavour. Listen to it, even if you compare the singing for the Aberdeen fans, it was flat as a pancake against them. But when Rangers came, they were up for it. The players were up for it. Their application and desire was totally different against the Rangers. But we know that's coming. That's the annoying thing. We know they're going to do that before a ball's kicked. So we need to make sure we're more consistent. And it's the exact same with Hibs. We're their cup final. We're their rivals. You know, and everybody's wanting to beat the Rangers. So we've got to be on our toes constantly. And just under Gio, it wasn't happening. And we can see the fight with Michael Beale's team. And that to me is showing a togetherness. And if they keep winning, they breed confidence, and the Bears will go potty at the end of the night. Every time they win, it'll be brilliant.
All right, mate. All right, so we talked about some of the players, Southside, you said, going through the motions. There's a couple of people who are out of contract over the lot of talking about. We talked about the centre forward the other night of your own, and obviously the Kevin Nisbet debate took place, which is grew arms and legs, I believe, on social media. But what about, where do you sit on the Ryan Kent contract issue? Or
I knew you were going to ask me that. I'll tell you the now, right? I wouldn't give Ryan Kent a contract. And that's just it. I wouldn't give him a contract. Doesn't bring enough to the table. He's been here, 4 years? And we can pick out games. You'll pick out Dortmund, pick out Braga, pick out Parkhead, or pick out this and that. There you go. We're only picking out certain games. He's not consistent every week. Doesn't score enough goals. Doesn't create enough. Doesn't influence a game. And no, I don't know how Stevie feels. He'll probably want to sign him, right? So, but my argument is, you could see first guy will come on here and say, but he's a busy player. Right, he's busy. He gets the ball. He does a sidestep just like on Sunday against Dundee United. and then he passes the ball to Hingme, and he's about 25, 30 yards out. He had a chance in the second half where he done the same again, stepped by a player. Two players were jockeying to the edge of the box. He's getting to the edge of the box, and he plays a silly pass out the road. You see them maybe having a shot or try to create a shot or be more direct and go in the box and commit them. For me, Ox, I wouldn't give him the contract. I would use the money for him and Alfie and put it towards Tillman if he wants to come and play Glasgow Rangers.
All right. Stick to the Kent situation because we're going to ask the listeners in a minute, Stevie, but what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are as plain and simple, and I said it, I think, a couple of shows ago. If Ryan Kent's got a free role in this team, I'm signing him. But see if you're going to play him as a winger hugging the touchline, I'm afraid, no, definitely no. I think it's how Beale's going to play him. He's going to give him that free role. I would give him another contract. He's a far better player under Beale under this free role than hugging that touchline and no making that. Now, I used to go off my head that he wouldn't make that diagonal run into the box so Horner could slip the ball through to him. He just hugged the touchline and then it just went still for there all the time. But we've seen a difference as Beale's come back. Now, whether that's I'm not playing for Gio and I'm playing for Beale's one thing, but definitely on this free role he's a far better player with a free role. And Southside's right. Listen, I'm not one to contradict myself, and I said this too. On paper, you look at Ryan Kent's numbers on paper, they're woeful. It's absolute woeful. He's got to do better. But I'm saying he's one of the guys I would like to keep at them. Now, I'm not wanting to get into Alfie because we're on Kent, but I just think Ryan he's still young and he can still do the business. And one thing is, he does a lot of tracking back, he's fit, and he can get that moment of magic out of him. And I think you'll see Marriott when I'm doing that free roll-ox.
All right, so 1 for, 1 against. Yes. All right, so it's your show. Give us a phone in 0141 356 1972. Phone in, give us your points of view or any other Rangers topic. It's free to phone in. It's a free show. Phone in, speak to the receptionist, and we'll bring you into the call. Simple, Stevie, innit?
Oxford,
Yes,
when do you have promotion on this show? 0141 356 1972. When do I get to say it?
I just said it, mate.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm sure the listeners will agree with me. He does nothing, right? He doesn't create. When was the last night? And all right, the Celtic game, you'll be screaming the Celtic game. That's what he should be doing, right? That's what he should be doing. When was the last time he done that? Hearts away.
Listen.
Right, and you like him in the middle of the park, Stevie. So what does he do in the middle of the park? When does he play a through ball? When does he create?
Yes, Stevie, you've touched a nerve.
No, I'm not saying on his day he's not a bad player. He isn't a bad player. But I want a guy who's going to go out there and produce more or less week in, week out. We slag Scott, right? We slag Sakala when he was off form and doing what he was doing. He can finish, but and as much as he's not even got half the skill that Hingme's got, Kent, he's producing more.
Scott Wright's always well turned out Southside. You've got to be fair.
He's like GB, always well turned out.
You know what I mean?
BGB, brilliant.
He goes to the groomers and all that, the facials and all that.
Sunbed.
Sunbeds and that.
Listen, I think we've touched a nerve here, Ox, with the Southside fella, and I think it's because I know the phone number now off by heart. I think he's flung all his toys out the pram. I don't think it's getting to do with Ryan Kent at all. But listen, he's right. He's a bit tippy-tappy. He does we all know his numbers and we all know what he does. We see what he does. He does a lot of tracking back now. You've got to give him credit when he's due at times. Southside, he scored a wonderful goal against Celtic here. A wonderful goal. If players down south done that, they'd be talking about it for months. The boy's got a lot to offer still. And that's why I would give him, if he's playing in that...
We'll let the listeners decide. What's the number, Stevie?
It's 0141 356 1972.
Are you sure?
Is it? Did I get it right?
No. No. Right, okay. By the way, he's both put up reasonable arguments for Ryan Kent. I agree with Southside about his numbers and his play. And to kind of fuse, what I would say is he has become busier under Michael Beale. Now, whether that's the change of attitude, shape, or he's just or his team's picked up, I don't know. But you can't argue that his numbers are appalling. And the same token, you can't argue, we all know he's got ability, and that's what maybe you find frustrating Southside.
Aye, he has got ability. But he does it on the left-hand wing. Even when he was doing it against Dortmund, he was out on the left-hand wing, crossing balls in and for headers for Kolak on the left-hand side. If you probably go back and look at his assists, they've probably been through the wing. No anywhere in the middle of that park. Nowhere at all in the middle of that park. Did he produce anything apart from running into players, or he stands on it and he passes it and then he does nothing else? If you want a busy player in the Rangers jersey, fine, pay him 35 grand a week. No for me. I want a productive player, and I would stick any money on with anybody for charity that a fit Hadji every week or a fit Tom Lawrence would be more effective than a Ryan Kent.
Can I ask my fellow colleague this? Can I ask you a question, Southside, if that's okay, live on?
Yes.
When he scored against Celtic, were you singing?
No, I wasn't. And I can produce proof to you. Off air, I'll produce the proof that I did not sing. Kent will tear you apart. As much as I was jumping about happy, no, I never.
Right, okay. Listen, I'll take your word for that, but I think it would be hard not to. What a goal. But anyway, okay, I think we're touched on Airvox.
Well, I noticed the voice changed. It was like Fox with a new mic, wasn't it? It's on in the voice.
Can you say that again for the benefit of the tape?
Oh, dear. All right, okay. I get it, mate. I get it. I mean, it'd be interesting if people's thoughts are. So, do you think it's because we know it's a heavy wedge? Does that influence your thinking?
I think he's not a bad player, Ox. I don't think he's anything special, to be perfectly honest. I think if we all look at him over a period of time, everybody keeps saying he gets doubled up on the left, but sometimes he allows that to happen at times. When he did get the ball to him on the left and he'd take the tap, and before he knew it, another player would come out to join the fullback, when he could have took it in his stride and had a right go at the fullback and go down the line. I just think for the amount of money we're going to pay him, the money we're wasting, probably what Matondo gets, because he showed nothing at all. But I just think Ryan Kent and over 30 grand a week, no, I think we could use that money for probably try to put it to a wage to get a better player. Or I think, like I said, Tillman would be worth buying. I think he would get more out of him, and I think he'd get more out of him than what Ryan Kent would give over the next 4 years. That's just my opinion. I just think he doesn't bring enough to the party, Ox, for us at all. He's just a busy player now, as everybody keeps telling us.
Right, okay, all right. Come and join us, give us your thoughts. We'll have a look on Facebook, see what people are saying. It's simple, eh? We'll just make it simple. Yes or no, is that all right with you, Stevie?
That's fine, Dandy, with me. Just get straight point, yep.
Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Yes will be Stevie, no will be Southside. All right, simple. Old school, we'll have a look at that and see how the debate's gone, and if people want to join us, give their thoughts. I know it's a subject that's come up a lot, but we are in the transfer window. I think that one of the reasons we're influenced is because of the wedge, mate. You know, we know you're talking about maybe close to £2 million a year they'll be wanting. You know, and in the Scottish League, mate, it's a lot of bang for your buck. It's Stevie here.
Listen, I totally see when Ryan Kent frustrates the life out of me for the simple reason is you know what kind of dough he's getting, right? And you want better numbers for what he does. You know what I mean? I just think, you know, there's still something there with the boy. Still get something to ease. There's something there. You know, Beale's got him gone again. His fitness looks better. I'll tell you another thing I've noticed about him. His choice making's a wee bit better. There's times he's passing the ball now when he should pass the ball, and there's times when he's shooting when he should shoot. and he wasn't doing that for a brave while. So it's starting to get a wee bit better, noticeable, but no. But listen, I agree with Southside's, some of Southside's points on Ryan Kent. He should be doing better. He should be doing better for the money he's on. We get that, but the question is, would you offer him another contract? I certainly would, for his age, and Beale's got him gone again. There's still something. He's still got something to give the Rangers.
Well, can I ask him something?
Yes, mate, of course you can.
Tell me about Ryan Kent's good at.
Tracking back, right away.
Brilliant, right, okay.
Shooting, running, pace, non-stop running.
Runs with his head done. Can he shoot? Shooting shocking. No end product. Can he header a ball?
Can he header a ball? I'll give you that. 100% I'll give you that.
Shooting shocking.
Shooting.
I just don't think we get Stevie. I agree. I respect everybody that will come on, and if everybody comes on and wants to back him, I'll respect it. I just don't see that we could go another 4 year with Ryan Kent, and he's meant to be one of your talisman, and we're relying on a guy who creates no a lot, and even what he's done the last 18 months. If you take that goal away against him at Ibrox, man, you're clinging on to that now, because that's what people come on and say. Look what he did against Celtic, and he's had some decent games against them. He scored some goals, but it's what you do every other week. It's not what you do every now and again, in my opinion.
We've been joined by Robert. Evening, Robert.
Evening, Ox, Stevie, and Southside, of course. Good to hear from you guys.
How you doing, Robert?
I'm glad you, Robert, bring a bit of blend to the show. Carry on, mate.
Right, Ryan Kent. No, Ryan Kent's a difficult one, right? He frustrates the life out of us. We all love him, backs, right? Bit like Morelos, right? But he frustrates the life out of us. The answer to your question, no for the kind of a money, 45 grand a week, but yes, because you need to watch what you wish for here, because you could end up signing another Matondo, another Scott Wright, etc. I think Ryan Kent on his game, and I know he maybe isn't doing it enough, is one of our best players. I still believe that. Yes, he's returned to Ox, his goals shocking, but see if you really look at his assists aren't that bad. I think he's got about 7 or 8 assists this season, and I guarantee if you check it, Eusebio or at Gyrodome, he'll not have any more. He might have more goals, but he's not got any more assists than Ryan Kent. In fact, I think the last time I looked, he's got one less. Him or at Parkies, it's the greatest winger in the world's ever seen. Eusebio. Know what I mean? So I want Ryan Kent to stay, but knowing the kind of a money he's looking for, and I'm quite excited the way he's playing under Michael Beale. And one thing you can't fault the guy for, you watch that Scott Wright, it doesn't track back, doesn't cry a leg. Ryan Kent doesn't stop. He gives his all, and I think he's actually no too bad the last 5 or 6 games.
Yourself, Robert.
I think he's been actually one of your better players the last 5 or 6 games. Actually, I thought on Sunday was his quieter game out the last 5 or 6 games. But I thought against them, I thought he's brilliant, great goal, and I'm sorry, I don't see where we're going to get really any better unless we splash out big money. I don't see we're going to get in, but we've got to encourage him. And not see another thing, Ryan Kent might be a victim like James Tavernier, like Connor Golston, like Alfredo Morelos was, playing too many games, 16, 70 games a season. Ryan Kent's in that category if you look at it, playing too many games and not being managed properly. And I think that's been your problem. Or even with Stephen Gerrard was there. Letting players play far too many games. You need to manage them better. And I think Ryan Kent comes into that category. All right,
mate. All right, just for a point of clarity, did you get Stevie's text before the show?
No, I didn't. I know he's fair with me, but I'm not going to fault with him because I love him, but he's one of my favourites. So I'll not fault with him. He can fault with me.
I'll give Big Southside the right to reply.
No, I agree, Robert. He's got bits of skill and he's done things, and I just don't see the clamour about him at all. I just think if we look at it and we get players added into that squad and we're getting Ryan Kent at free roll running across the middle of the park, then you could play Hadji in there, you could play Tom Lawrence when he was fit, because and the way I look at it is he's no producing it in there, Robert. Everybody's clamouring to give him this free roll. I don't see how that free roll's working. I don't see the benefit. I think he was doing better out on the wing. And I think if we got the ball out quicker, he can go and take that man on. I mean, you sit on the same side as where I sit, Robert, right? Sometimes you've seen him on the left, he get the ball, and then he would take the wee touch. He could already go by the defender, but he take the touch, and then he would just come inside automatically. He wasn't going down the outside in the first place. No, we watched it. We watched him do it, and then he just run into trouble, or he just pass it back to one of the defenders. I just don't think we get enough out of him, Robert. I think we've got to look to revamp the whole squad, and if people want to keep him, fair enough. And if he is there and he signs a contract, I'll have to support him. Obviously, I will. But I just think that a fit Tom Lawrence, a fit Hadji, or a fit Tillman, doing that role that he's in, if you want him running about the middle of that park, I think any one of them would give you better numbers than Ryan Kent does.
Well, see, the thing is, Southside, you kind of touch it there. What about when he's got better players playing beside him in the same team? Because sometimes that you can be a really great player. We've seen all the years with players, but if you're playing with bang average players run about you, and I'm not having to go in the Rangers players here, but I'm just saying, what if we did get a Lawrence back or a Hadji, we bring in a couple of a good signings who are better quality? That might bring the best out in Ryan Kent. I just don't think we should just jump in there and get short of him. As I say, I'm no paying him the kind of money that he's looking for. If that's the case, then we need to shake hands and say thank you for everything you've done, especially against Starlock. You were really good against Starlock on quite a few occasions. But I know it's smelling against him. But I think he's a really good player, and I would like to keep him. So, in my opinion.
And so would 80% of the people who have voted so far, Stevie. Does that surprise you?
It does, because normally I don't win anything. That's our first time, especially when it comes to Southside, because...
landslide by the end of the night, I'll go up to 100%.
Australia's no phone yet, your big buddy, he'll be on backing you up shortly. Don't worry about it, mate. Listen, it's just a funny one. It splits the fans. It really does split the fans. See, Robert came up with a great point, and I did say it a couple of weeks ago too. I would love to keep Ryan Kent, but I would also love to say to him, "Oh, Ryan, your numbers are terrible here. We're paying you 35 grand a week. We're bringing that down to 28, the same as Matondo. You know, I take it or leave it, you know, and that would tell you if he really loves your club or no. But the bottom line is it's going to split. Ryan Kent does split the fan, but no way would I play him as a winger again, stuck out there on that touchline, hugging it, and it was non-existent, full stop. He's been a far better player under Beale in a free roll. Far better. That's just I see it.
Southside.
Well, apart from he scored the goal where he should be on the left-hand side against them, tell me what he's done productive running about the middle of the park. What has he actually done?
There's more to his game than just shooting.
You say he's attracting players and the players will hang me, but there's no end product to him, Stevie. I just don't see the clamour for him at all.
I can't argue with you there. You're right. His numbers are great.
I get what Robert says. I agree, Robert. If we were playing that midfield like we were playing with Kamara, Ryan Jack and Stephen Davis, we only had the one creative player, was Ryan Kent. You know, he was there to go, we paid £7 million for him. That's what we're wanting to do. Go and create. That's what he's meant to be doing. But I get what you're saying, Robert. You need like a Tillman, a Hadji, or a Lawrence, or new players in beside him to put all the weight onto him to produce. Right, I get that. But I just think now he's getting this free roll and he's running about across the middle of the park. I just think we're not getting anything off him now. I think when he was out in the wing, when he put balls in at Tynecastle for Big Kolak and that, and he was a wee bit more effective on the left like he done at Dortmund and stuff like that. I think he is a wee bit more effective coming off the left. The sort of role that Sakala went into against Dundee United. I think if he's coming in off the left, no always out in the left, Stevie, but he might be a wee bit more effective there. Yeah. But I think running in the middle, and then I'd be saying to you guys, right, if you're going to put two other creative players into that midfield, you've got Tillman and you've got another two creative players and one holding player. Where are you going to play Ryan Kent? Is he going to go left or is he going to play the number 10? Where are you actually going to play him?
Can I say this, Southside? What did my manager said? He's very much loved in Ibrox, and there'll always be a place. He's wanting to keep him no matter what, so he must see I'm fitting in somewhere, mate. He must. Your manager's telling you that. You know what I mean? And he's no shy when he talks about Ryan Kent. You know what I mean?
Aye, I get that.
For a new deal, you know, but his numbers have got to be better. And I also agree with Robert where he says you'd be looking to maybe take a couple of bob off whatever he's getting now because of his numbers. I agree with that. And that will show you the kind of love he's got for our club then when they're all asked to give a little bit back because of no.
Can you see that happening?
Can I see it happening? Depends how much they're dropping, Ox. You've got to remember the manager's also told every single one of them in a press conference. If I was reading into it and I was a player, you leave Glasgow Rangers, you're going to a lesser club. Anybody that's leaving Rangers is going to a lesser club. And I don't care what anybody says. Your big man Shirley Bassey, yeah, Ajax a great European team, no doubt about it. Brilliant European pedigree and everything else. But they're no Glasgow Rangers. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh,
Yes, mate.
can I just something there? Stevie touched on big Calvin Bassey, big Shirley's man on. Now I was listening to you earlier on talking about big Southside saying about playing the dross in Scottish football and how we need to be. You know what I mean? We need to be more clinical and. It's just about beating them, to be honest with you, to win the league. You know what I mean? And what I would like, see like Calvin Bassey types of player. I think we need 3 or 4 of them in our teams. That type, big, strong, and powerful. That's what we need in Scottish football. Play fire with fire. That's the way I look at it. All these wee tappy players, they big bruisers will just knock lumps out them, kick them up and down the park. So see for Scottish football, if we want to win this league, we need to be more consistent and go on a run and win 20 games in a row and maybe only get beat 1 in 50 odd games we did when we won 55, things like that. We need to do that or we're not going to win the league. So play fire with fire and get in a few big bruisers, but guys that can play football obviously, but guys that will not take any nonsense, and that's what I think we need. And I'll listen, I didn't agree with Southside about the boy Nisbet, but like Stevie, I'm starting to come around a bit because I'm thinking to myself, he's got a bit of physique, he's got something about him, he knows Scottish football, he can hold the ball up, he is good in the air. But again, I would only take him for the right price, maybe wait to the end of the season, and I think he'll only have a year left and try and get him for a couple of million. I wouldn't be paying like 4 million, maybe I'm near it, but if we can get him for a reasonable price, I would take that guy.
There you go, another convert Southside. You're winning that argument, but no tonight.
Robert, when people were saying, was there anybody around about Scottish football, I just thought of him. I thought before he got his injury, he looked like he knew where the net was. I heard his name used to get mentioned at Rafe Rovers a few years back. It used to be Nisbet always scoring, then he moved to Dunfermline and he had a decent record, and then obviously Hibs took a gamble. He took a serious injury, which is unfortunate, and he's came back and he scored 5 goals. I think he's got good movement, I think he's good in the air, and I think he would score goals at Rangers because I think we'd create plenty of chances.
But Douglas Bader was good in there, you wouldn't sign him, would you?
Who was that?
Douglas Bader was good in there, you wouldn't sign him.
Well, you thought Herrera had good movement, didn't you?
That was one game.
So at least I've got a guy putting a guy forward that's at least got a goal scoring record. No, you've putting a guy forward with good movement down at Sheffield, remember?
Country as well.
But no, Robert, that was only my take on it, mate. And he just goes out and scores a hat trick, obviously. Do you know what I mean? It was funny, but I just thought at the time it might have been somebody that we could have looked at that I think could score goals.
We've been joined by Big Al. Evening, big man.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Big Al.
Big Al,
all right.
Good to hear you.
Is that your grandfather now, Steve? I think that's the first time I've spoke to you. Congratulations, mate. All the best.
A lot, mate. Thank you.
It's good. You'll be the youngest looking grandfather in Glasgow, eh?
Well, I've still got my Kappa trackie. That tells you it. That tells you everything.
Top man. I think Robert's right. What he's saying, I think the only thing he's wrong is Ryan Kent. I think the players, a lot of the players have run the race. The club needs proper investment. We need to buy big. It needs a total clear. Last night, when you were talking last night, you were saying offering Ryan Jack, he could do a job. He could do, like these players have won one league title and one Scottish Cup over a period of 5 years. The majority of them. That's not good enough. Are any of the players in that squad at the moment going to take us to the next level? That was a buzzword a couple of years ago when Steven Gerrard was there. I don't think they are. I think the place needs a total clear. We have to be careful. We obviously can't leave ourselves with no players, but same as Southside, I'm not 100% sure Ryan Kent's effective in this free roll type of thing. I liked him when he was playing well. I liked him hugging the wing, but he's just not consistent enough. He doesn't score enough goals. I think it's time to cut our losses. Thanks very much, Ryan Kent, but I think you'd find yourself another club. And a lot of players are in the same mould. And I think Beale, a lot of the things he's been saying the past couple of weeks are just paying lip service. Where are the new signings? We need to get the new signings in now. It pains me to say it, but you look at the other side of the city, they're not resting on their laurels. When they're in a position of strength, they're strengthening even better or even more, working in the transfer market. So I think we need to get proper investment into the team, and that also reflects on the board. If that board that's there at the moment cannot provide us fans or the manager with good, proper investment, they have to go. They have to go. Apart from that,
how do we increase the turnover to spend their money in financial fair play?
I'm not sure. I'm not a businessman like that. We need to get a board in that can wrangle it to get more money in, to get better players on the park.
And you come, Stevie.
I think Big Al's got a point when he says we need to get rid of a lot of the deadwood. Obviously, the fair play thing, Ox, we've got to get these injured players back on the field and playing so we can get rid of them and get the wage bill down with this fair play thing. That's one of the ways we've got to try and balance the books. We've got to, unfortunately, there's guys that, I would love to just chase out the door. I really would, and I counted about 8 of them. I would love to see just getting off the wage bill and never pulling a Rangers jersey on again. Big Al's right. We've got a lot of deadwood there, but you have to be careful how we go about it. You've got that UEFA fair play thing, sitting watching it like a hawk. And by the way, see if we go that with our pens, it'll be front page news. So the bottom line for me is we need to get the injured guys off the bench. We know guys like Kamer Roof are injury prone. He's going to be there for maybe 4 months and then he'll be injured again and we'll not see him again. He's no good to us. He's the most natural finisher. We'll probably go in the squad, but he's no good to us. Injury prone and on the bench all the time. So what you need to do with him is get him back fit and get him, sell him, try and get whatever you can for him and try and get him off a wage bill so we can free up some wages to put money in. And I do, and we've got to give our board a bit of credit here, Al. Right? They've never once no back 10 of the managers up. They've got Gio what he's they get Steven Gerrard.
I'll say that, but not enough. Not enough. We want better. We have to get to a position where we dominate, Stevie.
Aye.
We can't dominate. They came out a few years ago and said we've got to get this player trading model. Right? That's another buzzword. You can only have a player trading model when you're really successful. When you're dominating, when you get back to dominating, I'd rather see you just dominating first and then work out strategies there and after. We're not dominating, buddy. You and the big man, you go week in, week out. I feel it pains me when you's gone there, you are wanting to see success. You're wanting to see a calibre of player that gives you 100%. I don't think that squad gives the fans value, and I think that the board lets us down. We're looking at these players like this. Is it Cantwell, the young boy from Norwich? Well, he really, I think he falls into the mould of a player that we're going to resurrect his career. I don't want a player coming to Rangers if you're going to resurrect his career. I want a player that's coming to Rangers that's going to resurrect Rangers. That makes sense.
Do you think Cantwell's a better player than... I know they're two different types of players.
I don't even know the boy Cantwell. I don't even know. I haven't even looked up I feel as if that's a market now. We're looking at that.
We're always
the market.
We're always talking about consistency at Rangers. Maybe have a wee look and a wee dig round about Cantwell's pedigree.
Well, if he can't make it and be a big player at Norwich, what hope has he got coming to Glasgow Rangers and making it and becoming a big player and driving us on to dominance? That's where I would be looking at it.
Well, we're saying Kamara. We're saying Kamara.
Kamara, come on, man. Kamara. There's boys on here in the love fest with Kamara. Really, is Kamara such a good player that... There's people a few weeks ago said we could build a team around Kamara. I wouldn't build my five-a-side team around Kamara. He's no good. He's no fit for purpose. That's my opinion. I just don't think he's good. He's a 50 grand player, and I think he's been proven to be a 50 grand player.
Oh, I'm seeing Kamara in the terms of the money that we paid for him and what we've got out of him. You know, we've got... Listen, do you know where I think we took the hit? Big Al. We showed the fans that were loyal to the club. We showed them a bit of loyalty during their contracts. Get back and bite us in the butt. It really has. Your McGregor, Arfield, Stevie Davis, all these guys. We showed them loyalty and get them on a new contract, a year contract or whatever we get them. And it can bite us the bum. There's absolutely no pace in that midfield, and we need a bit of guile in the midfield. I
know McGregor never gives us pace in the midfield. That's right.
You know what I mean? Stevie Davis, guys like that.
I know, but they players.
I think Ryan Jackson kicked a ball for... I'm going to be honest with you. Good. Stevie Gerrard left. Ryan Kent Halley kicked a ball for a good while there.
He never kicked many when Steven Gerrard was there. I think he's how long's he been at Rangers? 5 years. I think he's had about 6 months spread over his 5-year career that he's been useful to us. They players, they've had their time. That's where it comes down to the board. The board and the people behind the scenes have allowed this to happen, but it should never have happened.
There's a logic in some of the moves they make. There's just no work to it. Yeah. You know, if you take the goalkeeping situation, and we've discussed this before, I think the plan was Southside. It looked as if John McLaughlin's done all right. He's got a great record for us. He's played in some big games. So what we'll do is we'll make him the number one. The boy McClory's pushing on. We'll keep Alan as a backup. We'll bring in the keeper, and the plan didn't work. Yeah.
No, didn't they?
Well, I think that's right, Big Al. I think Gio probably made it clear he was making John McLaughlin his number one, you know. I thought he would probably go in and do all right. He just had a couple of bad games, but it happens, you know. He gave him a game on Sunday and he done well. I don't know what he'll do going forward. I don't really know what his situation is with the goalkeeper. I think he said he was all right to the end of the season. So I think that's when we'll be fine that we'll go and try and get a goalkeeper, Big Al. But as you're talking about signings and stuff, I think Michael Beale's got to get it right. We are going to release some money, which definitely is good. We need a freshness, Big Al. It'll probably take maybe two, probably going into 3 transfer windows.
I know, but that's...
But he's going to... We've got some decent sort of players, and if we can get them back fit and playing, then obviously he can try and mould the rest of the players that he's looking for. But we need a clear out, big man. We need a clear out right through the midfield.
Definitely.
I think we've been joined with Shuggy before I go back to Robert. Evening, Shuggy.
Good evening. How is everybody at Rangers Radio tonight?
Good to talk to you, mate. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you, mate. Cheers. It's a pleasure to speak to you all again.
It's good to have the brains of the family on, mate. Good to have the brains of the family on.
Well, I try to be. I'm a good-looking one of the family, anyway.
Oh, to be fair, you've not got much to beat, have you? You know what I mean?
Well, that's true, yeah.
Right, what's on your mind, Shuggy? I know you're a connoisseur.
Well, it's just the debate that you're on about tonight. It's all we can do is stick together and show that we are the people. And then the new players, when they come in, you just mould them into the way we want them to play. And as long as we support them and back them, hopefully they'll bite the bug and they'll want to play for Rangers, and they'll want to play for the best fans in the world. And that's all you can ask for.
Robert?
Yep. Good evening, Shug. Good to hear you, pal. Listen, I'm big Al's camp about. Listen, I think the board lacked a bit of ambition when they let Steven Gerrard go. We don't know the whole ins and outs, but what I was told is they didn't. But yes, they backed him, and they've done well. The board in general, they have done well for it, right? But I think if they'd only pushed the boat out that wee bit more, and we've only talked about like £12 million like we did before 8 years ago. Well, no one, we can't go down that road again. But I think they should have pushed the boat out a wee bit more for Steven Gerrard at the end up, and I think we would have probably got 56. May have not got to Europa League final, but I think we would have definitely got 56 if they'd only pushed that boat out a wee bit. And that's only my grey box.
Mm-hmm.
Ox.
Yes, mate.
Can I just come in and say this? See our midfield, you're totally right. No, when it comes down to spending money in our midfield, right, we have hardly spent a penny since, even before Gerrard, Caixinha. We've hardly spent a penny in our midfield. Now, I'm going to say this. The boys are right in some of the things you're talking about. The board has backed the managers. The board has backed the team. We want that wee bit extra. Now, this is the windy. These next two windies will tell me everything about our board, because we need pace in the midfield, we need guile in the midfield, and we need to spend a bit of money in this midfield that we've not done for years. So see these next two transfer windies, it will show me what the board really are made of, and if the board are really backing Beale. That really, these two windies will show me what's going on, because we need to spend a right good bit of dough in that midfield to get it the way we all want. Big Al wants, Robert wants, I want, Southside. Our expectations are up there, and we want the board to get our midfield, because I'll tell you what, games are won and lost in the midfield for me.
All right, we've reached that time. We'll come back to Shuggy after we've had a tune.
Just what the Rangers really mean to me. These last few years I've been afraid I'd be my drift away. So I've been telling stories and singing songs, made me think about where we come from. That's the reason why I feel so very proud today. Let me tell you that I love you. I think about you all the time. I wish the days was good, but now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me sad. Last for Rangers is a life I've ever had. We won 9 in a row, and I'm still dreaming of Brian Laundrie, Travis Steve, Andrew Seth, keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing. We remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction. Jimmy Baxter, he was perfection. Super Ali scores again. Well, let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. I book stadiums cozy, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. We're all back. We're getting into some debates. It's 014 356 1972. Come and join us, and if we get a chance, we'll bring you in. Phone in, speak to the receptionist, we'll phone you back and bring you into the call.
Hello.
Hello. Back with the Shuggy, yeah?
Yeah, no bother, mate.
All right. Aye, mate, the floor's yours, mate. The floor's yours.
Right, well, I think what we can do is all we can do is once we get us new players in, let's go for it. Let us show them that we believe in them, because then if we believe in each other, it'll come together. Everything starts off slowly, but you've just got to build it. It's like building a house. You're not going to get success straight away, but if you believe in each other and you fight for each other, and you're willing to prepare and challenge for each other, it will come good if you believe in it. It's about believing in yourself, and it's up to Beale to go out and find these players, as he's already said. He's got to look them in the eye and say, right, do you really want to play for this great club and this great institution that we are? Show me that you want to do that. And if you can do that, well, you're in. If you can't, you're out.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is abilities, first and foremost, but character's important, eh?
It's not always about ability. Sometimes it's about mixing the two together, putting the ability together with the people that are maybe slightly weaker, and the people that have got the ability will pull the people through that are slightly weaker, and they'll say, wow, this is one hell of a challenge that we want to get together. And once you put that challenge together, it'll work. If you want it to work, it will work. If you don't want it to work, it won't. At the end of the day, it's like a marriage. If you're not prepared to go together, you won't work, whoever you put in or whoever you don't put in.
I'll pass you to a relationship expert, Stephen.
Well, listen, I agree with Shug to the fact that it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, this one day, we'll be lucky if we sign 3 players. We bring 3 new fresh bits of blood in. We need far more than that. As I said earlier on, I counted maybe 8 or 9 players that need to leave our team, our pool of players. And if we're only going to bring in 3 this one day, it's not going to happen overnight. And the reason being for that, probably only bringing that small amount in this window, is plain and simple the fact that Beale's got to get these guys that he knows himself aren't good for the club on the part to try and get them in a short window and bring them in through different games in short periods of time to try and punt them. I agree with nearly every one of the Bears I've said tonight. We can see what our team needs. We know we need a clear out. We know there's ones there picking up a wage. They're even worth the clothes that they wear. You know what I mean? The bottom line is it's not going to happen overnight, and everybody wants a quick fix, but it's definitely not going to happen. You know, we'll bring 3 players in this transfer window. And come the summer, that's when I want to see the real clear out of them all. Even if we take a hit, we're going to have to take a hit at some point, because there's players going to go nowhere and hug the bench. I get that. But it's not going to, there's going to be a mixture of things. We've got to bring players into the mould slowly, and we've got to get players back on the park so we can get rid of them to other teams and try and claw as much money. We're a business as well as a football club. We've got to remember that too.
As long as we don't get rid of Scott Wright, he's always well turned out. We've been joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Oxdear. Evening, Southside. Stevie, Shug, Robert.
How you doing, Blue Star?
Guy and Big Al. Guys, I'm inclined to agree with kind of Big Al. I get slagged the last time I was on for being pessimist. Being quite honest, I've almost every show since then, it seems to be most of you are coming around to what I've said since the start of the season. The 90% of our squad, quite frankly, we all know it now, they're not good enough. And Shug's right in a certain extent with what he's just said. The guys that these next two, for me, the next two transfer windows are maybe the most important in our history. As it's just been proven, Michael Beale spoke about this on Sunday, never mind Monday's press, about Cantwell and the boy Davis. He only spoke a wee bit about him, certainly. But the fact of the matter is, obviously, he's been looking at these guys for, I don't know, the last number of months or whatever. He knows the situation with their contracts, etc. And as yet, there's no heed nor tail as to whether they're coming in or whether they're not coming in. That in itself tells us everything we want to know. Us in the past, we always fingered ourselves on the fact that we weren't really talking about players as such, even although the press were. Our club just went out, and the first we knew it was when they'd signed. So it stands to reason. You don't need to be a fly in the wall. Common sense tells you the finance side of things is pretty grim. That's not being pessimistic. That's just the way it is. He hasn't got much money. So we're having to look bargain basement, guys out of contract, etc. So Beale's right when he's saying he's got to look at them face to face and be sure that if they're fit and he gets them fit, that they want to play for their club first and foremost. And on that, guys, I'm inclined to agree with, I can't mind who it was that said that. The guy Cantwell, certainly if you look at the bits on YouTube and that on him, he certainly looks to have been a bit of a player. The only downside is, for the last 2 years, he's hardly kicked a ball. He's been injured and he's been in and out of clubs that he's went to on loan. So on that basis, guys, it's one thing saying you've got to take a chance. He's not going to come up, even although we might not be paying out an enormous fee, but they're still going to be looking for big wages. And go back to your point at the start, Ox. If you're telling me Ryan Kent's worth 35 grand a week for the last basic 4 years, then there's something wrong. No Rangers fan can honestly say, hand in heart, that guy's fulfilled anything like what we know he's capable of. We know that he can pull something out the bag that's absolutely wonderful. But forget the word consistency. He doesn't even dare anything like. Robert had a great point insofar as he's the same as Tav. We've ran him into the ground. He's very rarely ever dropped. He's played even probably when he was well off form, probably even carrying injuries, and he's continuously played. And we all know if you've got players next to you that are decent players, then it brings you on. Of course it does. But guys, if he's looking for more money, to which, I say it again, our chairman said, now he's not coming into an AGM to say that if it's not true. He told us straight, him and Morelos were looking for even more money. Well, no, guys. Big Stevie's totally wrong in that aspect. They guys will never get more money than what they're on. They're getting paid far too much to do, and they're certainly not producing anything like what they should be. What do you think?
Stevie.
I was just going to say, if you listen to earlier on, Blue Star, you're totally right. I want Ryan Kent, I want to give him a new contract, but see what Robert said when Robert came on, maybe knowing that wage. I totally agree with that. And then that would show you that would show you how much they really do love the club. I would still give Ryan Kent a deal, but you're totally right for his numbers and what he's done. He's not been consistent, but there's still a player there, and that's why I would give him. I've just got Don't ask me, just most of the things Southside says he's right about him too. But I just want to keep the boy, because I think once he goes, you have to be careful you don't end up with another Matondo or another Scott Wright. You know what I mean? For
Stevie,
that kind of money.
right. Stevie, you're right. Absolutely. We all concur and agree with you. But if he's tell we're bored, absolutely. That's why he's not signed a contract, because he wants more money. Then our chairmans tell the whole club point blank, they guys aren't getting more money. So if that's the case, unless he's going to take a reduced wage, it's not going to happen, guys. These guys are away. Douglas Park stated to the AGM, they wanted it in excess of 40 grand. And he shook his head, they ain't getting it. That's not going to change.
When you look at it in the last few days, I'll go to Shug with us. Shug, even Man United, it's rumoured in the press, have said their players are only, I know it sounds astronomical, a cap of £200,000 per week.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to be sensible. Players are, the money they're taking out of the game at all levels is just, and it's unbelievable, Shug, yeah?
Oh, definitely. But the thing is, as well, they've got to look at the league and the standard of the players that they're playing against. Well, if they reckon that they're better than the standard of players that they're playing against, well, go out and show it. It shouldn't be about money. It should be about wanting to win trophies and wanting to say, well, I played for Glasgow Rangers for 3 years and I won 6 trophies, or I played for Rangers for 2 years and I won God knows how many trophies. And they should also appreciate the fans that travel from the breadth of the country all over the world to watch them. You should realise it's not just about Rangers Football Club, it's about the people and the heritage behind it and everything that goes with it. And that's got to be taught by Mr. Beale, because he already knows what it's about. He's already been there. He's already said, I need to look in players' eyes. If you don't want to be here, go. There's only 2 doors. You either come in that way or go out that way. You've got a choice. It's as simple as that.
Southside.
I think, Shug, that's the emotional tie that we've all got for our club, that sadly some of the players that come through the door don't have, and can't be ever connected to it. Some do. If they stay long enough, they get it. Could use Borner as an example. The time he's been there, Borner knows what it's like to play for Rangers. He knows about the support. He knows what it means to the fans and all that. So players can grow into it. Some of them might just never get it and don't stay long enough, and then we have to move them on. I just feel Michael Beale's come in. He's no daft. He's got to get these signings right. He stated just last week that he's going to get players for specific positions to play, so he'll get the best out of them. And let's be honest, he has to get it right. And if he thinks that Ryan Kent, for instance, is one he wants to keep and go forward and he'll get the best out of, fine. If he doesn't start producing many signs, then that'll be a failure on his side, and he needs to get it right. Because if we get players in that don't produce for our club, then he'll know last 2 years, never mind any player. We have got to be challenging, and we've got to try, and I've said that all along, I want us to have a go at this League Cup. We can win this League Cup. And we can win a Scottish Cup before the end of the season, and we can still chase that league down until it's mathematically impossible. But he's got to cajole all these players as well and keep them all involved. He's a good speaker, he's a good communicator, but most of all, his signings have got to be right for us, and hopefully they'll come in and get running. But like you say, if Cantwell's not played for long enough, then how's he going to come in immediately and maybe kick on, or any other player like that? We can probably get players for the Championship that are playing well, or players that have been in the Premiership that have fell out, maybe had an injury or no getting a game. We're not getting a player out the EPL that's at the top level playing, are we?
Well, he's played 18 league games so far this season, Southside.
Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about the boy. I can't really make comment on him.
Just checked I've just checked it. I've just literally checked it. He's played 18 league games for Norwich this season. I don't know about cup games, yeah?
Right, okay. So he's got a bit of game time in him.
19 in total, 1 in the League Cup, 19. No goals, right enough, no goals.
No, but he could come in and be a player, obviously.
You don't know, mate.
We don't know, but we honestly don't know.
You know, Robert, see the point of Shug, mates. You know, I hear the passion, I hear the they care for the club, and you've got that in you as well, haven't you? Like us all, but people sometimes the emotions. The trouble is, Fox has posted something to us there. They want fancy cars now, no medals. The game's changed, didn't it? Bizarrely.
Yeah.
Is it us it's daft, or is it them?
The game's changed 100%, and it's like, Stephen, this isn't just a Glasgow Rangers thing, like, say, with Connor Golson last year and Kent and Morelos running down contracts. Look at Man United with Pogba and Lingard and all that. Guys that run signed for 100 million, etc. This is a worldwide thing. Players will let their contracts run down. There's no loyalty, and they'll look and they'll see what they can get. Now, Ryan Kent, my heart tells me I'd love him to stay and reduce wages. But as you touched on earlier on, Ox, that's never going to happen. He's not going to take a wage cut to stay with the Glasgow Rangers, because there will be somebody who'll come along here and go, you're on what, 25 grand now, we'll give you 40 grand because we're getting you for nothing. So that's just the way fit was. But Ox, anyway, I'm going to drop out, and it's been great being on the show tonight, and I just want to say I'm looking forward to get the best Christmas present ever for Gary when he got me a ticket for Hampden on Sunday, and I'll be up that Rangers end, and I'll say to all Rangers fans, for the first whistle to the last whistle, and even if it's not gone right in the first half, because we don't tend to turn up in the first half, get behind the Glasgow Rangers, as Bridgeman says, and do you know what? I'm going up to that Hampden on Sunday. That's where we belong, at Hampden. And do you know what, Southside? It's not if we will win the cup. We will win this cup, Southside. Oxford, Stevie, Southside, and all the other guys. Thanks a lot, guys, and come on, the Rangers, let's do it. We are the people. Good night.
What a man. Stevie, what a man.
Oh, brilliant. Passion. Wait you hear him when I've wrote a letter to Rangers adding another 10 stairs onto that club deck just for badness, because I know he struggles getting up and down there, no? But anyway, Robert's a passionate parent. He's just passionate. He's like the rest of us. We're all coming in at different angles. We all want the best for the Glasgow Rangers, don't we? But we're just all coming in at different angles. We're saying we're bit, and that's the bottom line. That's what this platform gives us. It's absolutely brilliant. Rangers Radio is a great wee platform for the Bears to come in and talk after, whether it's their heart or their head, they talk off the cuff, whatever they want to do. This is a platform to do it.
Here. Aye, listen, I mean, transfers and bringing people in, Southside, we're the same. If we're going to get them for nothing, they'll be wanting wages, and if you look at the door's big for... If we're honest, the league, we've got to be competing in Europe, yeah?
Aye, we've got to get in and get the money out of that and try and do well in it as well, Ox. But that is important to the club, especially when you're trying to get transfers in, because it subsidises the budget for the players. So it is important. And we're all passionate. We all want Rangers to do well and win, and we want as much success and quickly as possible. That's what we all want. It's just that we'll sign players, and probably the ones, if you look at what we've signed, the ones that we've sort of could judge slightly. I know the jury's out in a couple of them, but probably Matondo's the only one that you could see at the moment has really failed. You expect at the moment it's failed. I know we've not seen much of Ridvan, but he had wee glimpses. That run into the box when he took the wee back flick and running at the one pace, you can see that boy's got something about him. And I think he'll turn out to be good once he's fit. And I think Ben Davis and the rest of them are starting to show. Tom Lawrence had sort of showed wee bits. So I think out of that, so going forward, I think we've got to try and get the signings as right as possible. And that comes down to Michael Beale. He knows the system and he wants to put players in specific areas. But I think we all know, and we've all said it on here, Blue Star, even last season, we know that squad needs to go. A lot of them have to go. We need a freshness. We just need a young, vibrant squad with legs. And we need probably a bit of physique if we could get that into the squad and all. And I think we'll not go far wrong then.
Aye, I mean...
Ox, can I ask you a question? See how you always say about the... Just for talking sake, say they handed Beale 30 million, right, in the transfer window, just for talking sake. Mm-hmm. Is that a case of, for him to go out and spend that 30 million on players, we'd have to get rid of, say, 20 million pounds worth? What is the stage? Why are we far behind in the so-called fair play thing, because I don't understand it with Celtic when they've got a bigger squad and they're spending more money.
They were way ahead of us in turnover, mate. You know, you think about
right. So it's simply down to what our turnover is and what our percentage is we can spend in players.
Your wage bill compared to your turnover, yeah. As your turnover improves, you can spend more money in players, yeah.
Right. So the 37 million in the wage bill, that would need to come down by a massive chunk then.
Your turnover goes up.
Well, surely our turnover last season's the most our clubs had in, 20 odd year.
I think this year, when you think about after the UEFA Cup final, you've still got the Champions League. Yeah, I know we didn't have the success in it, but you've still got the qualifying. You've also got the Sailor, Passy and Aribo. Anyway, I'll come back to you, poster. We've been joined by Jim. Evening, Jim.
All right, Jim. Oh no, I sorry, how you doing?
All right, mate. What's on your mind?
No, I was just saying about Kent Morelos. I was punting it to him because I'm not good. I'm not good. That Morelos talks about the parties if he doesn't give a fuck.
Oh. He was doing ever so well, James there. He was doing well. But I don't think he's alone in thinking like that's Stevie, is he?
I think you're better talking to Southside. There was the Southside camp there when he's talking about Kent. No, but
if we go to Morelos.
Listen, B. Morelos is another man. It's kind of dividing. No, maybe not as much as what Kent is dividing, but you know what I felt for the wee man. I stuck by him when everybody, the chips were down and he was doing silly things, and I seen the bigger picture. And below and behold, he was in Europe, he was in Feyenoord, Porto, you name it, the wee man was doing it. But I just think it's his time now. I really do, Ox. And I'm sorry to say, you know, we all know he could occupy a back line. We all know what he could do, but just the attitude, the huffiness, the injuries coming back, overweight, and just the whole thing now, I think he's just a spent force now. And I think if we can claw anything back for him, I think now's the time for the wee man to go. I really do. And I'm sorry to say that. He's been a good wee servant to the club for £1 million. No.
I get it, mate. You've got to keep evolving. You know, there's guys we've all had our favourites through the years, yes, particularly younger boys start. And there's a time when they all move on, isn't there? Yeah, it's a fact of life, isn't it?
Of course it is. I was looking at old film there. I think it was wee Andy went
for you. It was Pathy News, wasn't it?
Well, that's it. And it was a bit Baxter. Etc. Now, everybody in their right mind knows Baxter had no pace whatsoever. But what he did was, he didn't need to. He made the body to work. I mean, all these players are hard to come by. But the one thing I'll tell you, I'm really encouraged with it now. And I'll tell you, there's nobody on any show got it right. Our manager's shown a wee bit of steel now. See the very fact he dropped McGregor right out the blue when Nene has expected that. He then concurred with turning around and saying, well, the reason he done it, he expected him to hit us with long balls in the air, which we all did. And he brought in McLaughlin back in. Now, Nene has foreseen that happening. So it shows you he's looking, he's watching, he's seen in games certain things. There's certain things that I'm convinced, Ox, and I think we would all know. There's certain players he would automatically drop now. There's absolutely no question about that. I still feel he thinks he can, because he hasn't got the backup there that's needed to come in and do even a better job. And that's the predicament that he's in. So anybody that he brings in, he's got to be 100% sure that they're going to do it for him. Or he's in a sticky wicket. And I think the guy knows that. The very fact he's seen Gio getting bagged when he knows Gio was a brilliant player for us, etc., etc. So he's looked at it and he's saying, well, wait a minute, if I come up there, I've got to get that team on that bar. I've got to get them firing on all cylinders. And most of all, I've got to get them winning things, or I'll not be there long. So the guy knows his job. He definitely does. As I say, the very fact they could drop McGregor there, to bring in McLaughlin, it shows you he's got that, but he's got the steel. There's no doubt about it. and he'll definitely, maybe the very fact he's taking time with these players, he's making sure as he can be, that anybody he brings in, he knows they've got to hit that ground running. And I think that's a great thing, I really do.
So you mentioned he's looking at all the players and he's bringing in first teamers, Southside. I think the McLaughlin one, actually, when you look at it, Ross County, Dundee United, he's actually maybe brought him in because he might feel that these teams' best chances will be set pieces, and whether we like it or no, through the piece, apart from one spell in John McLaughlin's career, he's been better at coming dealing with crosses than Alan McGregor, hasn't he?
Aye, 100%. I think if you look at Alan's career, even the first time he was here, and he wasn't very good anyway, with boys coming in and tap him into the box. No, it did surprise his Blue Star when we got up there on Sunday, you know, and he was in the team, seen it on the way up. I thought you might have used him as a cup keeper, you know. And we've got a cup tie on Sunday. So I don't know whether he'll stick with him or no. I don't know if Aberdeen will threaten us a lot with high boys, so I don't know where he'll think he's why I think they'll be. No, he might think if they're going to try and troubles at all, but down the channels, be that Duke try to maybe get into space behind Tav, and they might need maybe McGregor, we're thinking is better shot stopper if they get any chances in against us, you know. I don't know where he's going to go, to be honest. I think we'll get a new goalkeeper in the summer. I don't think that's in question. So my answer for Sunday, I'm a wee bit undecided about all day, Blue Star, but I think come the summer we'll definitely go for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Aye, Stevie, I mean, it's all right we say, and Big Al's point, I know we want better, we want the best we are. If you start going, you know, if you accept Ryan Kent with £7 million and you start going for guys at 10 million, it's the wages they'll want. Yeah. They'll no want the 25 and £30,000 a week. It's going to be a different level.
Of course.
We've got to be pragmatic about that.
Aye. Well, you're not going to grudge any player anything as long as they're doing the business on the park. If you've got a player who's playing week in, week out, and they're playing at the top of their game and getting it up 100%, let's be honest. What's me Sakala on? That boy gives 100% all the time. You know what you get with Sakala? You see the best and worst of him in some of the games. He looks as if he's never seen a ball before, and then he'll do something outrageous like the goal he scored. You know, listen, I don't think any of the Rangers fans grudge paying any sort of wage for a boy that's going to give everything week in, week out consistently. I don't think any of us have got a problem there with that. Not a problem whatsoever with me anyway, just my opinion. If there's a guy on the park, for instance, Super Sally, Big Mark Haley, we were producing every week. They were as good as a goal at a start, boys. If we were getting that up with somebody, I wouldn't mind giving them 35, 40 grand a week. But it gets capped. It's got to get capped. We're a business. We've got to stay alive. And this fair play thing chasing us all the time, we've just got to watch what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Aye. Finding players, finding gems. It's no easy Southside, is it? But they're there.
Well, I think we brought John Park in, didn't we? Into the recruitment side. So he's been renowned for teamily getting players here and there. So hopefully maybe between him, Ross Wilson and the rest of them, they'll be out and actively looking. I think it might have changed slightly for them, maybe the style of player that Michael Beale might be looking for to what they might have had under the previous manager and Gio. But you'd like to think, like, he's always spoke at the AGM saying, like, oh, we're always ahead of the game, we're always looking at players and the next manager and all that, and we've always got a list of players. So let's hope that he has got a list of players. But like you say, it's about balancing if we have to pay a transfer fee and if we can't move any players on in this window. We're paying a few hefty money that aren't really about the first team, and we've still got somebody to come back, and then you're having to add. I mean, if you look at last year, I think we added about 10 million onto the wage bill with the players that we signed, did we know? Something like that, extra.
Aye, because the boys that come in, they're all on decent money, you know. We brought in.
Aye. So if you're wanting to add again in January, and we're having to pay a couple of transfer fees, and then we're having to say to the boys, maybe possibly, there's a 30 grand a week to start with, or 25. then that gets added to the wage bill. So obviously then we need to get more money into the club to get a turnover up, and we need to make European football, Champions League, to get that extra money to help cover the costs, and then obviously get some off the wage bill come the summer, hopefully.
Now that the dust is settled, I'm going to ask you this question, but before that, I'll say if people want to join us, it's 0141 356 1972 phone and speak to the receptionist, and we'll bring you into the call. Now that the dust is settled and we've looked at the recruitment for the summer, I'll go to Blue Star first. We brought in the players we brought in. We know that Suter had injury problems, but he was brought in pretty much, and I think that was a deal that was under Gerrard and that at the back end of 2021. We brought him in and he didn't have a great record, and it's no worked. We also brought in Tillman, Davis, Lawrence, Ridvan, who were the decent numbers, in Cholak. Now, when you look at it, none of them had a particularly bad professional injury record. And lo and behold, bang. I mean, I don't think they've all been on the park at the same time, if I'm being honest. So, have we had a bit of bad luck Southside? Because can you put that down to recruitment if you bring somebody in the door and they get injured?
It's just been bad luck, Ox, the way I see it, you know. Tom Lawrence was playing and then takes an injury. So Gio said he was back in training and then got injured in training. Then we seen Kolak got injured and didn't seem to come with any injury record before we sort of signed him. And obviously then Ridvan, you know, said it's one of the serious hamstring injuries he's seen that he could get in the maximum of weeks that he's going to be out. So we've always said we want to get players when we sign them to get them straight into the team straight away. And there's not been many players, to be honest, that we had signed even recently that were coming in straight away and playing. There was always a wee delay in getting them into the team. They had to get up to speed. Mm-hmm. You know, we've had that problem in the past. So I think just injuries have been unfortunate, and it could have been down to how they were training and what they were doing under the previous manager, because I do believe they were never as fit as they were under Steven Gerrard and Michael Beale. But I think some of them have got a bit of wear and tear in the squad as well, Ox, through the amount of football they've played. Aye.
Played a lot of games, they have. Blue Star.
Ironically, Ox, all 7 of the players more than likely would have been playing every single game, every single one of them. And we've not had it out any of them, even up till now, because they've all been crocked. So I think it's a mixture of bad luck. It's just incredible. You'd say to yourself, even if you'd get 1 or 2 picking up an injury, but 7 of them, you know, because if you think back, Redman would have been playing at left back because Bart Borna was away to the World Cup. Goldson, even before he picked up his injury, he never really had anybody next to him. So Davis would have been playing in there probably instead of King, obviously because of the fee. Lawrence would certainly have made his way into the midfield. So if you look at it that way, and we spent 11 million on them, every one of the guys would have been playing every week. And it just so happened we only knew we've seen a bit of Davis. We've seen a couple of games out of Lawrence, but none of them really get playing bar Kolak. So if you take 6 out of 7, we never really get nothing out of any of them. So it was worse than bad luck. It was just absolutely incredible. I've never known anything like it. You bring in 7 players and 6 of them can't play for you. It was unreal. So in that respect, Gio was incredibly hard done by. Because I say the guys would have been playing Ox. There was nobody in the positions that was playing out their skin, and that was why probably they were brought in.
You mentioned Davis there. Big Stevie, Ben Davis. He's grown on us, grown on us.
Aye, yes, they have, and not also has he grown on us. I think Golson's probably grown us even more, play better as well, at the fact that he's no babysitting. I mean, he's a young king in there with him, and he's a different people in there with him, and he's been keeping that back line and covering and talking to them and trying. And now that he's got Davis in there, who's a national left footer, centre-half to go with him. I don't think he's babysitting as much, and I can see them, they two coming really good. I can see they two, they're going to be a good wee pair. But we just need to give them time. We need to just stay with them, get behind them, and give the boys all the back we can and give them a bit of time. But they're starting to look a lot better at the back.
Southside, any thoughts?
Similar to Stevie, I think you can see a partnership growing there as long as they're fit. And the fact that he's alluded to John Souttar is back in training and stuff, I think you'll probably see him possibly featuring a couple of the games that he's got to get him back sort of playing in some position at some point. And I think he might play him in a few games towards the end of the season going forward. So I think you need to get some fitness into him. But I think they two have looked better. And like Stevie says, he doesn't have to keep organising and checking and talking out to him like he had today with the boy King, and he had to do it with Sands. And even had to date back in the day with Calvin Bassey when he was playing in there at centre-back. I think you've seen the best of Connor when Philip Hollander was just slotted in there, left-sided player with a left foot that would just know what he was doing. I think Ben Davies is similar now. He knows what he's doing, he's got a good left foot, he's comfortable. So I think it lets Connor concentrate on his own game.
Yeah.
No. Booster?
Absolutely. And as Southside said there, I mean, he had got big goals and had King, he had Sands, so he never really had a stalwart next to him. Now he has. They get games under their belt. It can only get us better for the two cups and get into next season, because you want a settled backline. Your defence, and more importantly for me, I think they'll do the job, especially in Scotland. Absolutely no danger. They two will barely hold their defence together. The midfield, as I say, is still up in the air. We need bodies in there. And if you get that, and he brings in somebody else up front, in Scotland, guys, you've got to hold your hands up. We should be more than good enough to push it all the way every season, no matter who we've got there in the squad. And as I say, when you look at all the guys that we brought in, 7 of them, as Ox said, 6 of them, you might as well say 6 of them, out with Kolak, 6 of them have not played for us. So you take 6 guys that you've spent 11, 12 million on, that's some chunk, that's more than half your team. And that's what we're manager even the new, plus our last manager had to contend with. So is it any wonder that we maybe did drop points? Probably no, guys. Plus we had injuries all in every other position, as we still have. So it's been a long, hard haul. It really has. I've never known anything like it in my time. I certainly haven't. I'm
just trying to think. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, if you take our starting lineup, there's been times, I think, when both John McLaughlin and Alan McGregor have been injured. Tab's been injured, Golson's been injured, Davis has been injured, Barisic has been injured, Ridvan's been injured, Ryan Jack's been injured, Stephen Davis has been injured.
Kamara.
I think there might be Alfie.
Ruth.
Hadji. Tom Lawrence.
It's frightening.
Kolak.
Even Kolak.
Right. Oh, there's obviously Scott Wright. He's always looked well turned out, and you've had I think the only one that's not been injured, if you think about it, is one of Big Stevie's. One of Big Stevie's favourites. I can't remember Ryan Kent being injured. He must have been the only one.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Just put the brakes on a minute. Who said Ryan Kent was one of Big Stevie's favourites? Absolutely not. But I'm seeing him as a team player. I'm seeing him and I'll give him a contract, but he's not my favourite. And as far as injuries goes, I know who I'd love to see getting injured, Matondo and that, Scott Wright. I wish they two boys would just disappear. I really do. And I hate being hard towards any Rangers player. I try and give all the players my backing, but guys, man, I can't believe this boy Matondo's on something around about 28 grand a week. He's a £3 million player, but it comes with the price tag, doesn't it? The wages, so £20,000 a week. Come on, man.
Our recruitment staff are due criticism for that. The other ones we get, there's criticism, but you make mistakes, Southside, and I forgot about Philip Hollander, and I forgot about Hollander. You know, it's frightening, Southside, when you put up sale like that. That's since August.
It's some catalogue of injuries, isn't it? It's been horrendous. I think the thing with Matondo was, if I could probably see him having to go out on loan in January, because if you're going to get players that are going to fill certain positions, then how do you fit him into the team? If he's not going to be in our team going forward and he can't get a game, there's no point having him. And he's on a chunky wage, so it was well just getting him out on loan somewhere as well. Maybe he was doing no bad in Belgium by all accounts before he came to us playing on the left. There was a couple of managers said that he'd actually been playing well over there, and they were surprised.
I thought you were going to send about the fag runs.
We're getting one of the big yellow jackets and send them up the back of the Copeland Road at the turnstile. He's a favour.
But I was going to say something else here about a bird though. Listen, it's not happened for him, right? So what you've got to look at is he going to get a game in that starting 11? Don't know. And if hopefully we add two players in two forward positions, or one in the middle of the park and one decent player that's going to play high up and create and hopefully score for us, where does Matondo fit in? So
Matondo doesn't get in the squad 20, mate, if I'm being honest.
Right, so we'll need to look at getting him out on loan then, wouldn't we? You know?
Sell him to somebody for £1 million, couple of losses.
It's the wages, mate. It's the wages. Blue Star.
Was Matondo brought in predominantly because they thought Kent was away and they were going to play him in the left? Is that why he was brought in? Obviously, it must have been, sure, right?
I think you got a combination. The manager, and we saw it. And if you think back to the Europa final, mate, the previous manager never fancied Sakala. Hadji got the injury, guys were out, so we're looking for somebody who could maybe play that side and maybe also help out Kent as well if he was to go, and maybe he'll come out as well. And when we've seen him, mate, he's got nothing to offer. And if what we're hearing is partly true, he's not got a tremendous attitude near. But listen, it's the wages. That's the problem all the time, Southside, isn't it? Once they've got their contracts.
Aye, it's not that Blue Star, right? I mean, he was valued at 11 million for Manchester City, and because it's a Manchester City academy, the other players have left Man City for similar prices, and they went to Schalke, and by all accounts, and he ends up in Belgium, and we've bought him for whatever reason, our scouting system and whatever thought he would be a good addition, and at the moment he's just bombed, and he's just bombed. And you might say, well, I've not had a lot of chances, but it's a new manager in now and you'll need to impress him. And I just think if he's going to struggle to get in, we'll probably have to get him out on loan, and hopefully a club will maybe pay a chunk of the wages for us. Otherwise, he's going to sit in the stand most weeks, because I don't see him getting a chance in that team unless he starts producing and gets in the Michael Beale squad, which will start at training. And we're no privy to all that. But it's unfortunate.
The only thing I can see, guys, is it a case of maybe he'll have 6 months under his belt, he'll get to know the club, his attitude gets changed if Beale gets talking to him and the rest of the backroom staff. Could it be that it's once he's had that time under his belt, then he'll maybe start producing? Who knows? Certainly the new, you can't see it. But I mean, if you look at it in that sense, it's all right saying we all like Sakala. Nobody may say more so than myself. But there was plenty of games too that they were only bringing Sakala in maybe 10, 15 minutes here and there, and the wee guy wasn't getting a run, certainly under Gio. So, Sakala's there a long time now. It could just be that once they start getting a run of games, your confidence goes sky high. You see it with Sakala. Could it be the same with Matondo? I don't see it. I'm just posing a question. Certainly for his pace, with his pace and his bit of trickery, let's be honest here. He should be more than capable of running riot, certainly in most games in Scotland. But at the moment, it just looks as if the guy's not interested. It really does.
You've got to want to do it. It's, you've got to have the desire as well as maybe the pace. He's definitely got pace. We've seen that, but whether he's good enough, I'll be honest with you. If he was a boy to come out the youth team, he'd be back playing with the youth team, Stevie, wouldn't he?
Oh, aye, definitely.
Aye, I would say so. No, listen, I hate talking about Rangers players like this, but you've got to be real, haven't you? I mean, there's some of the players out on the park box. We've discussed it at times. I mean, some of the players that are out there, we've said, surely a boy in the B team can come and do what Scott Wright's done. I mean, there's guys, young boys in that B team can go and do what Scott Wright.
I've looked to the B team, mate, and I've got to be honest, there's none of them as well turned out as Scott Wright.
But listen, I hate talking about Rangers players like this. Look, the best thing we can do is just hope that we can get all these guys fit and on the park, and then Beale will know exactly what he wants to do with these boys. He said he wants to look people in the eye and see if they're honest enough to say, I'm still in, count me in, I want to be with this club. And then he'll bring in the boys and he'll know exactly what he's doing. We'll just stay with him. But I agree with Blue Star, and I did say it before Blue Star came on, these two transfer windows are very, very important to our club. Very, very important.
I just think Southside, it's difficult when you don't know who's going to disappear. They'll have an idea about the contracts more than we will. Who's going to be after wage bill in the summer and where you are with spare budget. You know, if all the players who contract, we don't give anybody a contract that suit a contract in the summer, and for the guys that are younger, Morelos, Kent, and then you get rid of all the senior players, you've got a bit of spare cash to play with, ain't you?
That's what we've got to try and generate. You need to assess, like some people have said, give Ryan Jack a year or Arfield another year. No for me. But and then you're going to free up that type of wage because they'll be on decent wages. And if you can bring a younger player in with a bit of talent and something that we're looking for to play in this type of system, then I'm all for that. You know, I want Rangers to be the best they can be, and I want Michael Beale to succeed. So for me, it would need a big freshness right through the squad. But I know it will take time. And I know Kaidi maybe this window especially, and we'll certainly, I think we'll have a better chance in the summer. I think we'll look for more players, but I think even into January we might still look for one or two depending on how he feels and what's available. So I think you'll always look to try and strengthen, but we've got a budget and we've got to get that wage bill down, like you say, Ox, and that hampers what we can do in trying to get players into the club. So they're obviously on it, the board, and they've obviously, Michael Beale's obviously assessed everything now, I think. And I think he knows himself what he will do in the summer and who will move on. Because he needs to get a refresh so we've got energy and a bit of skill and passion and flair into that midfield.
I think he's been clever, Blue Star. I think he's been really clever. He's getting them all close, putting the arm around them, bring them in tight. But then at the right time, he's just going to push them away. I've used you. You're out the door. You're finished. Your contract's up. Thanks a lot. See you later. It's a ruthless game, mate. There's no room for sentiment.
Absolutely. And you're right there when you said that, because right at the initial time, when his first couple of games, I'm saying to myself, but he's playing the same flipping players again when you knew some of them were just rank rotten. Let's be truthful, they weren't producing. They weren't contributing. But he came out with all the right sound bites and he's saying, look, I want them all behind me. He's obviously been trying to get them fitter, because you can see some of them are definitely fitter. The levels have definitely went up. Certainly in some of them, obviously knowing them all, because some of them are still playing with injuries. But he's went about it the right way, and there's no doubt about it. You can tell just the way he's talking, and I know talking's not for doing it on the pitch, but you can clearly see that he's tried to get them on side. I think they are on side with him, but there is no doubt, no two ways about it. The guy's no daft. He can clearly see that he needs massive, massive improvement, and he said it himself, so that can only be good. The next point's down to quite frankly, guys, it's down to the board. The board have got to get him backing. And in that, come the summer, I don't see it happening in January. He'll bring in a couple of maybe out of contractors or that. But come summer, Big Al's right in that sense. Finance has to be fun. It's not a case of if. That's the board's job. If they don't do that, then they're not doing their job properly. And it has to be fun. Because there's going to be easily 10 out of contract at the end of their contracts. They will go because there's no way in this earth he's keeping them. And the mass majority of them are on in excess of 10, 12 grand. And that's not the big hitters. So even guys in Scotland and in the lower English divisions, see if you're bringing in guys that are perfectly fit and are playing football, there's millions of guys would side for Glasgow Rangers in 10 grand, 12 grand a week. Just look at Scotland alone. There's definitely prodigies out there that we could be using. I'm not saying they would be playing week in, week out, but as a squad game, it's not just about the 11 on the park at any one time. There's definitely sports guys there that we can bring in, definitely.
It's about building a team, and if you think back when, you think back to the Battle of Britain, I know it was a long time ago, and Southside showed me the DVD we had. You had Dave McPherson at right back, John Brown playing McGough. Dave McPherson and John Brown, even though the careers they had, there wouldn't be signings when we brought them back to the club, and when we signed John Brown, even though he'd done well at Dundee, they wouldn't be excited to support Southside, would they? But the job they done for us.
Exactly, they done a job, and like you say, you wouldn't have thought they'd have been in that team against Leeds United. But aye, and I think we went, do we not go about 40 odd games undefeated or something in that team for then 1 minute or something? It was some record there. 44, aye. Aye, they did a job, and like we said, we've took other players as well. Like you said, John Brown gave us it was all heart and desire. He wanted to play for the Rangers, obviously. If you're getting the type of players that are maybe blue noses, we've had them all through our squad in that our recent years, and even further back when you talk about Andy Halliday and that, and Jason Holtz and stuff that supported Rangers and stuff. But aye, Stephen Naismith, as much as it kills me to say it, I wouldn't even let him back at Ibrox for the half-time draw. But what a player he was for us. When we got him, he just fitted the system that we like to play, and he was aggressive and he was brave. And I just think you might look about Blue Star, and I said earlier, I flung that name in a Kevin Nisbet, and I thought, as we're trying to build a squad and Michael Beale makes players better, he's proved he scored in Scotland, could he be one that we could maybe get £1 million and try and develop him. He scores goals and you're going to get more chances at Rangers.
Well, we brought in Camberry, Southside, and for me, Nisbet is far, far, far superior in every way to Camberry. As you say, if it was about £1 million, would he be worth it? Of course he would. Absolutely. He's got pace. He can drift into the wing. He can cross a ball. He can hit a free kick. He scores goals, and he's good in the air. So by all means, I agree with you. Absolutely. He would only make us better. There's no doubt about
that.
Stevie boy?
Ellen Road.
Pardon?
I do believe there was a well-known Rangers radio presenter got a black eye that night in Ellen Road. Can you elaborate a wee bit on that, Mr. Oxford?
I don't know if it was a black eye, but I'll tell you that.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I had to get it an Ox. Come on now. You jumped when the bell scored. Then you got a tank at night. Fair play to you. Went ahead with a whole lot of them. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It was an adventure. It was an adventure, Biggin, yeah.
Aye. Listen, I've got to give Southside 10 out of 10 again for his observation on Kevin Nisbet. He's really brought me around to thinking. And I never thought in my lifetime that I would maybe want one of them, the dark side, or maybe the boy Shanklin, but it really is. I mean, it's starting to come into my thoughts more and more, and if we can get him, let's be honest, Hibs are not going to let him go for £1 million, depending on how long they get left.
18.
How long they get left?
18, roughly.
Saying that,
a year and a half, yeah.
saying that I thought they maybe were pushing for $2.5 million or something for him. That's what I thought. But if they're if it's 18 months left, you just don't know. Add another $500,000, $1.5 million, maybe they might accept that. By the way, Bridge will be sitting in the ceiling now because we've got the Scottish club's money. Oh, Bridge, he'll be going bananas. But no, Kevin Nisbet, he'll run the channels, he'll fit into our style of play. Will we make him a better player than he already is? Of course we will. Better players run about him, and better tactics, better coaching, better facilities, everything's gone in the boys' favour for me, and I would definitely take a punt on him. So 10 out of 10 to Southside there, 10 out of 10.
It's not like somebody from the south of the river not to want a Nisbet in their life. Anyway, gentlemen, we've reached that time in the river at the evening. Thanks very much, Blue Star.
Yep. Cheers, Oxford. Thanks for having us on. And it's like I say all the time, it's onwards and upwards, guys.
Cheers,
we are the people.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Big Stevie.
Oh, brilliant night. Times flew in. Great discussion. As I said earlier, everybody's come in with at different points of view and at different angles, and it's all for the love of the Glasgow Rangers. And by the way, me and Southside speak about the Rangers. We go and see the Rangers. We just adore everything about them. And by the way, Southside, these boy, my God, I've had to be the United Nations a couple of times and step in between the two of them on this Ryan Kent thing. But look, he's got to accept defeat gracefully tonight on Rangers Radio Southside. Yeah, I mean, most of the punters want to give a boy a new deal. And I don't think they'd be sour grapes with you, mate. I think if you come onto a game, you'd be the first to say credit when it's due. But the Kevin Nisbet thing, 10 out of 10, mate. It's been a pleasure being on with you and Ox tonight, and Big Al and all the boys that phoned in, me, Robert. Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
Southside.
Aye. Great being on the show tonight, especially with the big man. I all have opinions, Ox, as we say.
Yeah.
We'll call it as we see it. I'll probably put the hex on this, but you'll probably no score for the next 4 games now or something.
Take him. Start being him his first goal scorer yourself.
No, I hope Ryan Kent goes out on Sunday and he absolutely rips him apart. Of course they do. But we'll see who's right and wrong come if he signs or not. But no, it's all about the Rangers, mate. We come on, we give an honest opinion. We don't always agree, but it's a good show. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's good to be on with a big man and your good self.
Here. Thanks to Al, Blue Star, Robert, Shug, and of course Jim, who phoned in. Didn't last long, but he phoned in. Thanks to your good self, Stevie, and Big Southside for doing the show, Fox, and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, as usual, talking about all things Rangers. Don't know where it's going to take us, but we will be taking away Old School Blue.
From Argyle, so young, to Glasgow City, they come, seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. Outside a dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. So hoist up your Rangers flags, sing with your heart and voice, celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are the Rangers, the greatest of all. Start a football
To start